A very warm welcome to Kalang Igniting the Curious Mind. As on date, it's Saturday, 6 June 2026. Let's begin the chapter Structural Organizations in Animals. In the preceding chapter, you have came across a large variety of organisms, unicellular and multicellular, of animal kingdoms. In unicellular organism, all functions like digestion, respiration, reproductions are performed by a single cells. In a complex body of multicellular animals, are the basic functions are carried out by different groups of cells in a well organized manner. The body of a simple organisms like Hydra is made up of different types of cells, and number of cells in each types may can be thousands. Human body is composed of billions of cells to perform various functions. How do these cells in the body work together? As we have already learned in the early classes, multicellular animals is a group of similar cells along with the intercellular substances perform specific functions, such as organization is called tissues. You may be surprised to know that all complex organisms consist of four basic types of tissues. The tissues are organized in a specific portions patterns to form organs like stomach, lungs, hearts, and kidney. When two or more organs perform a common functions by their physical or other chemical interactions, they come together to form organ system, digest system, respiratory system, etc. Cells, tissues, organs, and organ systems splits to work in a way that exhibits divisions of labor, contributes to several of the body as a whole. Organ and organ system. The basic tissue, as you have learned in the early classes, organisms to form organ, in which turns from associates to form organ systems in a multicellular organism. Such organization is essential for more efficient, better coordinated activity, and millions of cells constitute an organisms. Each organ in a body is made up of one or more types of tissue. For examples, our hearts consist of four types of tissues: epithelial, connective, muscular, and it's a neural tissues. We also notice after some careful study that the complexity in our organ system displays certain dispensable trend. The dispensable trends in the called as evolutionary trends. You'll study in detail in class 12. In this chapter, you being introduced to a morphological and anatomy of a frog. Morphology refers to study to forms or externally visible feature. In case of plants and microbes, the term morphology precisely means not only this. In case of animals, it refers to external appearance of organs, parts, and the body. The word anatomy conventionally is used for the study of morphology of internal organs in the animals. You will learn the morphology anatomy of a frog representing vertebrates. Frog can live both in lands and in fresh water, belongs to class amphibians, phylum Chordata. The most common species of frogs found in animal is Diana tigrana. Do not have constant body temperature. Their body temperature varies with the temperature of the environment. Such animals are called as clove-blooded animals or poikilotherms. You might have also noticed the change in the color of the frog while they are in grasses or in the dry lands. They have the ability to change the color and to hide themselves in from their enemy, camouflage, and this protective coloration is called mimicry. You may have also know the frog not only seen in the dark during this peak summer winter. During this period they shelter in the deep burrows and to protect them from extreme heat and cold. This is known as summer sleep, estivation, and winter sleep is hibernations, respectively. Have you ever noticed the skin of a frog? The skin of a frog is smooth, slippery due to presence of mucus. The skin is always maintained in a moist conditions. A color of the dorsal sides of a body is generally olive green and with the dark irregular spots. On the ventral side, skin is uniformly pale yellow. The frog never drinks water but absorbs it through the skin. The body of a frog is divisible into head and trunk. The neck and tails are absent. Above the mouth, a pair of nostril is present. Eyes are bulged, covered by a nictitating membrane that protect them from while in the water. On either sides of the eye is a membranous tympanum. Ear receives sound signals. The forelimb and the hind limb helps in swimming, walk, walking, leaping, burrowing. The hind brains ends in the five digits and are larger, muscular than the more forelimbs and ends in the four digits. Feet have web digits and that help in swimming. The frog exhibits sexual dimorphism. Male frog can distinguish the presence of sounds produced by vocal sac and the copulatory pad in the first digits of the forelimb, which are absent in the female frog. Anatomy: the body cavity of a frog is accommodated different organ systems such as digestive, circulatory, respiratory, nerves, secretory and reproductive system help develop structures and function. Digestive system consists of alimentary canal, digestive glands. Alimentary canal is a short because the frogs are carnivores, hence the length of intestine is reduced. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity and leads through esophagus to pharynx. The esophagus is a short tube opens into a stomach, which in turn constitutes an intestine. Rectum finally opens outside of the cloaca. A liver secretes bile that is stored in the form of a bile gather. The pancreas digestive glands produce pancreatic juices. Diagrammatic representation of internal organs. A frog shows a complete digestive system. Connecting digestive system. Food is captured by a bilobe tongue. The digestion takes place by the action of HCl and gastric juices secreted by the walls of the stomach. The partially digested foods called as chyme is passed from the stomach to the first part of the small intestine and duodenum. The duodenum receives a bile from the gallbladder, pancreatic juices from the pancreas through the common bile duct. The bile emulsifies the fats and pancreatic juices digest carbohydrates and proteins, and final digestion takes place in the intestine. The digested food is absorbed by the numerous finger-like folds in the inner walls of this intestine called as villi and microvilli. The undigested solid waste moves into the rectum and passes through the cloaca. The frog respires on land and in water by two different methods. In the water, skin acts as aquatic respiratory organ, cutaneous respirations, dissolved oxygen in the water in exchange through the skin by the diffusion. On land, the buccal cavity, skin, lungs act as a respiratory organ. The respiration by lungs is called as pulmonary respiration. The lungs are a pair of elongated pink colored sac-like structure present in the upper part of the trunk region thorax. Air enters through the nostril into the buccal cavity and then the lungs. During estivation hibernization, gaseous exchange takes place through the skin. A vascular system of a frog is well developed. Close type. A frog have a lymphatic system also. A blood vascular system involved hearts, blood vessels and blood. The lymphatic system consists of lymph channels, lymph nodes. Heart is a muscular structure situated in the upper part of the body cavity. It has three chambers, two atria, one ventricle. It's covered by a membrane called as pericardium. A triangular structure called as sinus venosus joins the right atrium. It receives blood through the major veins called as vena cava. The ventricle opens into the sac-like conus arteriosus on the ventral sides of the hearts. The blood at the heart is called up carried to all parts of the body by atrial system. Vein collects the blood from the different parts of the body to the heart, and from the venous system a special venous connections between the liver and the intestine as well as kidney and the lower parts of the body are present in the frogs. The former is called as a hepatic portal systems and later is called as a renal portal system. The blood is composed of a plasma and cells. The blood cells are RBCs and erythrocytes, WBC erythrocytes or leukocytes and platelets. RBC are the nucleated and contains red color pigments, namely hemoglobin. The lymph is different from the blood and it lacks few proteins and RBC. The blood carries nutrients, gases and water to their respective sites during circulations. Circulations of blood is achieved by the pumping of actions of a muscular hearts. Elimination of nitrogenous waste as is carried out by a well-developed excretory system. The excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, uterus, cloaca, and urinary bladder. These are compact compacts, dark red bean-like structures situated like a prospectively in the body cavity on both the sides of ventral column. Each kidney is composed of a several structural functional units called uriniferous tubules or nephron. The two uterus emerges from the kidney in the male frog, and the uter act as a urogenital duct which opens into cloaca. In female uterus are oviduct open separately in the cloaca. A thin-walled urinary bladder is present ventral to the rectum, which also opens to the cloaca. The frog excretes urea and thus ureotelic animals. The excretory products are carried by the blood into the kidney where it is separated and excreted. The system of control and coordination is highly evolved in the frog, and it is both the neural system and endocrine glands. The chemical coordination varies organs of the body is achieved by the hormones which are secreted by the endocrine glands. The prominent endocrine glands found in the frogs are pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, pineal glands, and pancreatic, islets, adrenal, and gonads. The nervous system is organized into central nervous system, brain, and spinal cord, peripheral nervous system, cranial and spinal nerve, and autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. These are 10 pairs of cranial nerves arises from the brain. The brain is composed in the bony structures called as brain box cranium. The brain is divided into forebrain, hindbrain, and midbrain. The forebrain includes olfactory lobes, paired cerebral hemisphere, unpaired diencephalon. The midbrain is characterized by the pair of optic lobes. The hindbrain consists of a cerebrum, bellum, medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata passes out through the foramen magnum, continues into a spinal cord which encloses with the vertebral column. Frogs are has different types of sense organ, namely organs of touch, sensory papillae, taste, buds, smell, nasal epithelium, vision that is eye, and hearing tympanum with the internal ear. Out of these, eyes or internal ears are well organized structures, and the rest are cellular aggregations around the nerve ending. Eye in a frog are pair of peripheral structures situated in the orbit in the skull. These are special, simple eyes possessed with one unit. External ear is absent in the frog, only tympanum can be seen externally. Ear is an organ of hearing as well as balancing equilibrium. The frog are well organized male and female reproductive system. Male reproductive organ consists of a pair of yellowish ovoid testes and a pair of yellowish ovoid testes which found adhere to upper parts of the kidney, double folded peritoneum called as a mesocardium. The vasa efferentia are 10 to 12 in number that arises from the testes and enter the kidney on their sides open into a bidus canals. Finally, it communicates with a urogenital duct that comes out of the kidney, opens into cloaca. Cloaca is a small medial chamber that passes through small fecal matter, urine, and sperm to the excreta. Female reproductive organ includes pair of ovaries. The ovaries are situated near the kidney and plays no functional connection with the kidney. The pair of oviduct arises from the ovary and opens into the cloaca separately. A mature female can lay 2,500 to 3,000 ova at a time. The fertilization is external, takes place in water. Development involves larva called as tadpole, and tadpole undergoes a metamorphosis to form adult. Frogs are beneficial for mankind because they eat insects, protects crops. The frogs maintain the ecological balance because these serves as an important link of food chain, food web, and in the ecosystem. In some countries, the muscular legs of frogs are used as food by the man. Summary: the cells and tissues organ and organ system splits into work in a way that ensures the survival of a body as a whole and exhibits divisions of labor. A tissue is defined as a group of cells along with extracellular substances performing one or more functions in the body. Epithelia are sheets-like tissues lining the body surface and its cavity, duct, and tubes. Epithelia have one free surface facing the body fluid and outside environment. The cells are structurally and functionally connected at the junctions. Indian bullfrog, the Rana tigrana, is a common Found in India, body is covered by skin. Mucus glands are present in the skin, which is highly vascularized and help in respirations in the water and on land. The body is divisible into head, trunk, and a muscular tongue is present, which is bilobed at the tip, and it's used in capturing prey. Alimentary canal consists of a esophagus, stomach, intestine, rectum, which opens into cloaca. Main digestive glands, liver, and pancreas. It can respire in water through the skin and through the lungs on the land. The circulatory system is closed. Simple circulation RBC are nucleated nervous systems is organized into a central, peripheral, and autonomic. The organs of neurogenital systems and kidney and urogenital duct which open into cloaca. The male reproductive organ is a pair of testes and female reproductive organ is pair of ovaries. Female lay 2500 to 1000 ova at a time. A fertilization is developed its external eggs hatches into tadpole which are metamorphosis into the frog. Thank you for tuning into Kalang. We're igniting the young mind where you and I grow together. Thank you so much for